two days early because the plane wasn't gonna land any other day but today before the retreat. So basically I just had to get here two days early, which is fine. I've been enjoying it. It's very beautiful, but I just wanted to, there's gonna be like a whole Grenada series going on. I'm definitely vlogging like the experience, but I did want to stop and make a couple of videos that I've been like really wanting to make for a couple of weeks now. And this is basically a message to beginner witches, brujas, all the things, and that is, be careful who you listen to on your spiritual journey. And the reason why I say this is because there's a lot of especially like in the Instagram community and like even the YouTube community too, there's a lot of like people who it's really weird. Like, to separate it, people have really weird attitudes about their own work, their own paths, their own businesses, because a lot of the modern witches have their own businesses. So it's like this really weird attitude when it comes to people and people who are coming into their path and people who are starting their journey and stuff like that, and it turns into like let's say they post up a spell somewhere, and then you decide to actually try the spell, and then you post it or something. Someone will get mad at you for actually trying the spell that they posted for you to actually try, and it doesn't make any sense to me. And of course, giving credit is due, but also taking into account that there's a lot of spells out there that are very much recycled. Because hey, if cinnamon can be used to draw in money, everybody's gonna say you can use cinnamon to draw in money. So if you have one witch saying, oh, you can put cinnamon in this and this will draw you money, and then there's another one saying the same thing, you can't really say they're stealing from each other. That's just a known fact now. But ultimately there's this kind of really weird kind of pushback going on, and I think that's because there are people who kind of go on Instagram and go on like YouTube and kind of start mimicking their businesses based on other people's businesses because they see that they're successful. But the important thing to take from it is, one, you're just beginning on your journey and you should try whatever the hell that you want to do. Don't like listen to people that are like, oh, well, I'm the best, I do it the best, so I because those people just want you to buy their product. And yes, they can believe that their product is the best and stuff like that, but ultimately working your magic is working your magic, not working anybody else's magic. When somebody's selling a product to you with all good intent and everything, hopefully what their product is actually a product that works and that it works well with you, blah blah blah, and you're buying it because it works and blah blah blah. But if there's something that you want to try that it just so happens that some other person is very successful at it as well, like there's people on Instagram and even Facebook and like YouTube as well who are very good at candle magic, and they can tell you like how to do certain rituals and spells and all this stuff, and they're very good at candle magic. But then there's some that will get pissed at you for actually working your own and trying your own and experimenting yourself and try to create your own spells and stuff like that, because like the second they post it, oh, they're copying me. That's not really the point of what witchcraft is or what spirituality is or what magic is. I'm sorry for my voice, I'm still recovering from last week. But that's not the point of what magic is. Your spiritual journey is your spiritual journey. I'm not saying it's a good thing to steal content or anything like that from other witches and like just post it and just be like, oh, well, this is me and blah blah blah. That's not cool. But by all means, feel free to work your magic, because I feel like people don't mention that. There's a lot of people that are just like, well, I'm the best at this, I'm the best astrologer, I'm the best at that, and like me, and this is why I'm successful and blah blah, and that's great, but that's not the point. If you're like kind of put on in your path is to be in service of many people and to help them in their path. You should not be judging what those people end up doing with their path, because there's so many different things that you can do with magic, so many different things that you can work with. And then like a lot of people, there's like it was so funny because the other day I was watching like this video or something, I can't remember what it was, but there was like this really popular YouTube person who has YouTube Twitch or whatever, and she had mentioned in the video, she was just like, well, hoodoo and voodoo are the same thing, because I guess she got that question somehow, and I was just like, that's actually false. And it's for someone who has like a big following and stuff like that, and for people who are starting to get in their path, it's one, you're giving misinformation, but you're also claiming all the time that you're so intelligent. It's so you do like the best, and you're like everything is, you mastered this level of magic and spirituality and like levelness. Like nobody can get up to that level, which is one, false. Two, that whole thing, that comment was false. It's two different things. Hoodoo is a practice, voodoo is a religion. People need to get that together in the noggin, because I feel like a lot of people are starting to kind of get curious about certain things, and like there's different types of witchcraft, there's different areas of where like how it is evolved over time. There's a lot of important cultural just history, and like the way it gets done through that culture, the way witchcraft forms through that culture needs to be just clear, because there is no point of telling someone that something is a fact and also presenting yourself as you know everything, and then misleading people, and then you're kind of putting somebody else in the position where they don't even really want to work their own magic, even though that's what you're telling them to do, because oh my god, if I start doing this, then that means I'm like doing everything else and I'm copying someone or whatever the case may be. No, anybody can do candle magic, anybody can make conjure oils, anybody can work with herbs, anybody can work with crystals, anybody can like start a business selling crystals. Like it's not like, there's a lot of businesses that are not unique, and there's a lot of businesses that are unique, and there's a lot of businesses that really like the people running them, like the women running them, there's a lot of women in business, which I love, running them, who just put so much time, effort, and magic, which is the important part, into their business, and that's why they grow and everything like that. Now when it comes to working your own magic, and like I like that I follow a lot of people on Instagram who are really new accounts, because I like to see, they're like very much like, oh well, I'm a new witch, I'm just starting my journey and stuff like that. And like I'm never gonna go on their page and be like, well no, you just fixed this candle wrong, or that's the wrong way to make rose water, or like, you know, like start being super judgmental, because ultimately it is your journey, and you are the one who needs to figure out how, if stuff works or not, because not every single spell works. Sometimes your intention can be like very kind of not there. Sometimes you need different ingredients, sometimes you need to connect, you need to meditate before you actually start. Like you can't just be like, oh well, I'm just gonna make this, like meditate, focus, like try to vibe with some herbs, try to vibe with some crystals, like what is it that you need to do, and that's why it's really important. And this is why I always loved about witchcraft themselves, is like the whole concept of the Book of Shadows is brilliant, because that's technically your grimoire, that's your book of spells that's worked, have not worked, that have that you've constantly used, that worked, that your complete journey it's in there. And I definitely suggest starting one as well. But when it comes back to like popular witches saying, oh well, no, this is me, don't listen to that. Ultimately, do you, that's one, do you. Don't listen to people that are trying to bring down your magic, or tell you to work your magic, but then don't want you to work your magic, because that don't make no sense. definitely, I feel like there's people that definitely put up great content, but also can be a bit hypocritical at some points, which is fine. Nobody's perfect. I'm not saying people should be, but there should be an understanding about newer witches and just kind of letting them just develop. Like, don't start hounding people who are just starting their path and just be like, no, you can't do that because I do it the best. Like, no, that's just not cool. Let people go through the journeys, and this is ultimately a message to witches. Like, let people go through the journey. That's the reason why, like, people post spells online. This is the reason why people make YouTube videos about it. Like, oh my god, this worked really well for me, I'm trying to share with you guys. There's great content and great resources and great people that are like, hey, listen, the reason why I'm posting this is because I'm trying to share this information with you, and that's for your growth. So you could try something new. You can also alter the ingredients, you can alter the spell, you can like, I don't know, try working with a different deity than they use. Like, you can kind of customize it for your own whatever it is that you want to do. But you can also have that resource of someone saying, hey, you know, this really worked for me, so that's why I'm sharing it with you. And there's no reason to turn those people down or to say, hey, you know, like, you kind of like, you shouldn't be doing that. Like, there's so many people that are like doing the same thing and trying to be me and all this stuff. I'm like, listen, anybody can fix a candle. And yes, granted, the power in which that candle will be is gonna be is based on the intention, the person, the magic. Honestly, seniority does have like a lot to do with it. If you are a seasoned witch, seasoned bruja, then yes, you are gonna know what to do. You're gonna know what to work for you're gonna know like the time of day to do it. You're just gonna know, and you're gonna make a very powerful tool to manifest whatever it is that other people. That's the whole point of having a business where you sell it, and when you share that with people, like, hey, you know what, this really works. But also there needs to be an understanding of letting people develop their own stuff too, because just because you make great products doesn't mean other people can't make their own stuff. And that's kind of the point. Like, it's about them, like, it's about younger witches finding their own value in their magic, and that's the important missing piece that people just don't get. Like, a lot of people are just like, well, you know what, I already got to this level and I have a certain amount of clients and I'm making this much money and stuff like that, which is great. But there's more people kind of moving towards a path and like, okay, well, you know what, I'm really getting drawn to this. Like, I'm very intuitively getting drawn to this. Like, there's something here, like, I want to develop it. And kind of blocking them right at the get-go is just very, it just doesn't make for a fun experience, I would say. Personally, for me, I've been like doing so much like all my life, to the point where I started actually selling my own products, and just like reading tarot and stuff like that. Like, I love reading cards. I love it's so weird because I always get like this thing in my chest and in my mind where I'm just like, oh wow, that's what this whole thing meant. And it's always a great experience for me reading tarot, and it's always just, but I'm never gonna tell anybody, no, you're reading it wrong, or, you know, you need to read it my way, or you like need to make this my way, or whatever it is. Like, it just, no, just do it your own way. Find your own symbolism in tarot. That's a wonderful part about tarot. You literally always learn something as you go using the cards. Don't get discouraged. I don't really care for the accounts that are always doing the whole like, oh, free tarot reading and stuff like that. I don't really care for those. I don't really like those, just because, like, one, tarot readings are very impactful. They're a very important tool, and I wouldn't want to just get like a free tarot reading from anyone. I'd rather pay for the service. I want to know that the person giving it to me is like has like an extensive relationship with their deck. And those things are important, but there is the bigger picture is that you should be reading your own cards as well. You should learn how to not be biased with your own cards, which is like one of the big, I'll make a video on that, but that's like one of the big tarot like roadblocks, is when you start reading it and start being biased with the cards. They start reading it to your like angle. I'll make a video about that, but there's so many things and so many lessons that tarot can teach you just from trying to read the cards. And just because there's so many people out there who's been reading cards for like 20, 30 years doesn't mean that you shouldn't read it. You know what I mean? Like, don't fall for the like kind of suppression that more popular witches try to do, where, well, it's not everyone, but not all witches do this, but there's some popular ones that are like, will really try to be like, well, work your magic, but I'm the best. Like, it's like, okay. All right, that's not the point. We're all just trying to work our magic here. That's the point. Like, coming together as a community, working our magic. If you're working your magic and I'm working my magic, the energy is just, we just elevate. We're just gonna keep like rising and rising and just moving at a higher vibration, and that's the point. That's the point. Getting to the point where you just manifest like this, where you just feel really strong, you're very powerful, you know your gifts, you know how to work with certain things, and that's the point. And I really wanted, it's almost like, this is like a mini rant, but I really just wanted to get that off my mind, to get that off my chest, because I see this a lot in like the witch bruja like community. It gets really kind of petty and really like, no, everybody just work your magic. Literally, I'm telling you to work your magic. That's a free pass. You shouldn't be stealing other people's photos and stuff and posting it as your own. That's not cool. That's not cool. But work your magic. If you did something in your room and you're like really proud of it and you saw it and it happened right after and all this stuff, that's great. Post it, share it, you know, share with the community. If you don't want to share it in the community, you don't have to either. Hey, you can work your magic in secret. That's the whole point of your Book of Shadows, you know. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There'll be more coming, I promise, because I'm vlogging while I'm in Grenada. I have like a bunch of stuff to do, and I'm just gonna post this now, but I will see you guys probably tomorrow.